Hey, what's up, everybody? We back in action, back at it, ready to do it again. Thanks everybody who joined early. For the people that joined early, please let me know if y'all can hear me in the comment section, so I'm not talking to myself. As always, please, send me a what's up or whatever, and thumbs up, and let me know where you're from, where you at. Hey, Ludine, how's it going? Hey, Anna, how's it going? For the people that's new to this channel, give it a minute or so before people join so we can uh, get it started. I know it's the summer, it's the weekend, everybody out, barbecuing, fishing, and hanging out, doing all the good stuff. I say rather get lost in reality than face reality, but that's on them. But the information is out there. Okay, we 1 minute past. I'm gonna give it another minute to just get everybody joined, and then y'all know how it is. Ask the questions in the comment section. I'll get to those. Of course, the weekly wrap up is always there, and so if you got any questions you've been thinking about all weekend or all week, and was like, hey, let me ask them this. Just post them there. I'll get to them. But all right, my 2 minute time limit or my patience for 2 minutes is up. So let's get into it. First thing I want to bring up, and this is the weekly wrap up. We're gonna start with the weekly wrap up. Again, ask all questions about anything financial or whatever you see in the news in the comment section. Please give a like, subscribe to the channel, and all that other great stuff that's out there. But we start off with the weekly wrap up, and then I give my opinions on it, and then we get to the questions for anybody that's new to the channel that don't know how this whole thing operates. First up, this was a news article that came out Wednesday. It says 30% of middle class and poor families pay 30% more on high school graduations than wealthy families. Let that sink in for a minute. Hey, Izzy, how's it going? Let that sink in for a minute. Middle class and poor families pay 30% more on high school graduations than wealthy families. And I think there's a reason behind that. I think the reason behind that is because wealthy families' high school graduations are expected. That's what it is. It's expected. It's not, hey, well, I'm just glad you made it here because nobody else in the family made it here, like the middle class and the poor side is. So when they reach that hallmark or that pinnacle of graduation, then in the inner city neighborhoods and things or what have you, they got to go all out. And then for the most part, that is the hallmark or the pinnacle of those young adults' lives. And I'm calling them young adults because in America, everybody's 18. So that's what it is. Y'all already know me. I ain't celebrating no high school graduation. I ain't even celebrating college graduation. I remember having a conversation with my son, my oldest son, when he was graduating high school, and he said, yeah, this is my graduation day. I said, you ain't did nothing special. I said, we celebrate stuff that hasn't been done before. That's it. So, of course, last week when I talked about him, buying his first property and his rental property at 23 years old, and he did it bigger and better than my family ever did, I salute him. I sung his praises, him and his family's wife's praises. That's the stuff I do. I don't want him to think that this is the end all be all. This is just the beginning. But 30% more. Transferring to other things, Tesla. For you Tesla investors out there, Tesla believers and all that, again, as you'll know from previous videos, I have an investment stake in Tesla. I said I will not buy any more of Tesla. Of course, we know the robo-taxis came out in Austin, Texas. It's more success than failure with that endeavor that they're going on. But all in all, it will bring more money to the company. I do not believe that $4.20 cost for travel will be the sticking point. I believe that number will be way higher with the average cost of between $15 and $20 once everything established and once the company has matured. But for the Tesla shareholders out there, the robotaxi thing was good. You know, it's the launching off pad, especially with the combination with Waymo. But the problem is European consumers are offloading or not buying Tesla vehicles because they're opting for the Chinese model of it. And I said this many years ago that the technology, as far as all the bells and whistles, Chinese do not have that. But what the Chinese vehicles have that is better than Tesla is the longevity in a tank of gas or longevity in a battery. So all the bells and whistles and all the display screens and all the other, unique, funny things and great things that they can do acoustic wise, as far as Tesla, one thing and one sticking point is the longevity it takes to charge, or the cost that it takes to charge if you want to do the supercharge, and then the time that it takes all in all just to go through that endeavor. It's way longer. Somebody want to take a trip across country, if you in an internal combustion engine vehicle, it adds 2 to 3 days to the trip just because of the charging aspects of it. But the Chinese EV, which we don't see none in the United States because the United States have 100% tariff on Chinese EV vehicles, but the European market is starting to see it. The vehicles drive longer. The charging time is less. And one thing, and we've talked about it many times about NIO, is instead of sitting there charging the battery, they got an interchangeable battery that you can pull into a gas station, service station, or whatever. They take out your empty battery and just put in a new battery, and you just keep on going. Now, the time limit on that, I believe it's like 15 minutes for the reinstall portion of it. But the U.S. don't even have that infrastructure anyway to even do that. But you're starting to see Europe pivot more towards the Chinese model than the Tesla model. So that the robo-taxi side looks good, but there's some downsides, especially in the European market when it comes to Tesla. What else came in the news? Also Wednesday, NATO and all its partners agreed to increase defense spending up to 5% of each country's GDP. Recently it was 2%. Now they agreed to increase it to 5%. I think it's 2035 is the number. But just putting that in context, just so you understand, this is how much the United States spend on a monthly basis. They spend $132 billion a month on Social Security, $89 billion on interest expense. So all the debt we already have, and in the business government space, when you talk about debt, it's not like the regular everyday consumer where, when you make a payment, some goes towards the principal, the rest goes towards interest. And these, commercial debt fields, everything goes towards interest. And then when the bond or the debt matures, then you have to just pay the total amount back. So that's $89 billion a month towards interest expenses. Just for previous stuff that we did and the debt that we have, we just paying $89 billion in interest, and we still owe this $37 trillion that we still have on the balance sheet. We pay $42 billion a month in Medicare, $76 billion in healthcare. That's, healthcare services for government employees and all that. And then another $70 billion a month in national defense. And this was for the month of May. So now they're raising the defense spending 5% of GDP over the next, 10 years or so. So these numbers are only going to go higher, especially on the national defense side. So when you wonder where all the tax dollars go, when you hear about people wanting to cut spending, this is why. This is why. So just so you have an understanding of this, the United States budget goes from October of a year, so October 2025, this will be the new fiscal year, to the next October of 2026. So from October 2024 to April 2025, we have spent more, $1.049 trillion, and this is only, 6 months? We have spent more than we bring in tax revenue. So that's just like you bring in $30,000 of income, You just spent your $30,000, and then you need another $20,000 in credit card. That's what we're doing as the United States, and that's in 6 months. We still got to get to October. I think this number will easily hit another $2 trillion, another $1 trillion to the deficit. I believe wholeheartedly by the time next year comes, we will be sitting at $40 trillion in debt on a national level. So everybody keeps spending all they want to, and this is not a Trump thing. This is not a Democrat thing or Republican thing. This is a culmination of everything that we've done for the last 30, 40, 50 years of just spending more than we make, spending more than we make, spending more than we make, and then that's where we at now. I mean, now the Trump big beautiful bill is not going to assist and help that, because according to numbers that's out there, that's going to add another $5 trillion to the deficit. I mean, of course they're not factoring in tariffs and all the other things that they have going on, but that's something else that got to factor in. So I used to be upset when I heard, the Dems saying, hey, we need to raise taxes. But if we just talking about an individual household here, you have to raise your income if your debt's getting out of control. So somebody got to figure it out. I don't know who got the magic formula, but the true reality of it is it's not enough money coming in to be going out. And this big beautiful bill will cut more money of the ones that's coming in. I know the understanding of it. If we cut taxes, then more people will be willing to pay the taxes. We'll see. But until then, we facing $40 trillion in debt, and we bringing in roughly right under $4 trillion a year. So we got $40 trillion in debt, and we're bringing in less than $4 trillion a year in tax revenue, just for people that's out there. Last one is, well, no, I take that back. It's two more. The tipping culture. The tipping culture, that's a big thing that's out there right now. And for people that don't know, who never left the United States, tipping for services, that is a U.S. thing. This is a U.S. American thing. Like when you go to Mexico, I mean, some parts that border close to the United States, they probably understand what tipping is, because the United States, Americans visit there a lot and they tip. But in the rest of the world, that is unheard of. I've been places in Europe, in the Netherlands, in Germany, in Belgium, and things like that, and I tried to tip somebody for their service. They looked at me as I was disrespecting them. So now the big thing is, on social media, servers are going off on customers that's not tipping enough, and they are not contributing to the society that which we live. Servers, they get paid below minimum wage, and the employer believe that you should. The employers believe that you should make the rest of your money from the customers. Now, just think about it. If I got $50 and I want to take my family out to dinner, and the only thing I got is $50, the bill comes with the $50, then the server is going to be insulted. I'm not upset at the server, but that's all the money I have. But the server's upset at me because in the dynamic that we have, you work for somebody and you're expecting me, a consumer of your product, to pay you above the cost of the consumption. And then y'all know now in America, it don't matter if you in fast food, it don't matter where you at. Everywhere you walk up to a kiosk, they ask you for a tip. Some of these people are making, the minimum wage of $10 an hour to $11 an hour or whatever, but they still want a tip. So that's a real question I got for y'all. Do you think the tipping culture has gotten out of hand, or do you think that there's merit to what the servers are saying, that if you can't afford to go out and tip, you shouldn't be going out? So I'll ask you that. And then so for the people that's on the inverse side to say that people shouldn't go out if they can't afford to tip, this is how it works. So the serving industry, they get paid $2, $3 an hour. And then if they don't make the tips that bring them up to the federal minimum wage, then the employer has to cover that to get them to that level. So what's really going on? So for all those people that I used to bitch, moan, and complain about of y'all being rude to servers, well, they work for you. I'm not saying you should be rude to them, but You're paying their salary so the employer don't have to pay for it, but the employer gets to have all the control, command over these said employees. Uh, so that's a question I would really like to I would really like to get from y'all. Other things on the market. Now let's talk about the things that's out there. Trust me, I'm gonna get to your questions. I really would like to hear about the tipping culture. So please hit your comments in the comment section. For all the people that was wondering and all the fear mongering that was going on in the end of February about the Republican Party was going in the stock market and the world was coming to an end and sell your 401ks, and then people that's on the YouTube channel, they seen I did a video where a young lady said that she sold her 401k. She closed out her 401k because Trump was in office because it was going to zero. I mentioned in the video that that was a faulty decision, that when times are bad, you should invest more and not get out. But if that young lady actually did what she said, yet here we are. February 17th, stock market started going down. The week of February 17th. Next thing you know, we get here and April, we down 20%. We down 20%. Everybody's screaming bloody murder. People was running for the exit in 401ks. People running for the exit in Roth IRAs. People running for the exit and, just their regular individual brokerage accounts. Me, I'm sitting there saying, this is the time you need to invest. What my family was doing, when we saw the capitulation happen in February 24th, the week of February 24th, and the market started to turn over, we saw it and we called it out. Say, hey, we think the market's going to turn over, it's going to go down. But instead of what most people did was, hey, we're going to head for the exits. And they didn't head for the exits to the end of April when it was down 20%. We started investing more. So the more the market goes down, the more I invest. So even still today, when the market started going down at the end of February, I've been 100% invested. That means I take care of my necessities. I take care of, a couple of tertiary things, but then the rest of the money goes into the market. And then it proceeded to keep going down. And then the week of April 7th, the market decided to rebound. And then lo and behold, just this Friday, and people that's been on this channel for more than a day, they know I was saying the whole time, this is the time you should be buying, this time you should be buying, this time you should be putting extra money in. And then lo and behold, on Friday, the stock market hit a new all-time high. Not a 52-week high, a new all-time high. And I'm still 100% invested. And then so for the people that ask what's next, what do I plan to do? What I plan to do is I plan on staying 100% invested until the news from the big, beautiful bill comes out. And I believe that's going to be a sell the news event. I just really do. That it's going to be a sell the news event, that the bill's going to come out, it's going to get passed, and then people is going to start selling off. But what I'm going to do, so let's just say I'm wrong. First off, let's say I'm wrong. Let's say the big beautiful bill comes out in the next 2 weeks or so, and the market continues to rally. I will stay 100% invested, and then once we get 10% above the previous high, then I will start layering out the amount that I invest. So I'm 100% invested, so I'll go to 75, then I'll go to 50 as we move above 10% higher than the previous high. And then I'm just sitting here waiting. So with the other 50%, I'm just stacking it to the side, maybe investing in some other real estate deals going on, or just stacking, waiting for another come down so I can put more money into the market. But if I'm right, and it's a sell-off event in the next week or so, and from the big beautiful bill, I will go from 100% invested to 125, 150, 175, even 200% invested. So what I mean by that is, instead of, let's just say I got $500 to invest a month. And then right now I'm $500. Now let's say big beautiful bill comes out and the stock market comes down again. So then I'm going to $750,000. $750. I'm thinking long term. $750 invested a month. $1,000 invested a month. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep investing. The lower the market goes, the more I'm invest. What did that mean for my family? That means they're going to have to suffer. That means, hey, they maybe can't go on the trip that they wanted to go on. Maybe they can't go We can't go out and eat every weekend. But the lower the market goes, the more I'm going to invest. And I will keep investing until my family eating ramen noodles if that's where it has to go to. That's what I do. Every time, all the time. The more the market comes down, the more I invest. The more I find money, ways to invest. And then when the market's coming up, then we go back to normal. Not until, not before. That's exactly how we pull this off every time. Just like the housing market. I've been talking about for years. Stagflation economy is coming upon us. I talked about seller financing deals. I talked about this is a great time to. I talked about how this spring buying season will be a bad time. It's going to be a hard time on the market because people don't have enough money, especially at the interest rates, to buy houses. I said this is a good time for people to go buy houses. Now I know everybody like, oh, he's crazy. But the true reality of it is this is still the best time to go buy a property. Why? Because nobody else is buying. I have been under contract for 2 seller finance deals below market price already. We talked about my son last week. He's buying deals right now. And I know everybody like, oh, well, he's buying with high interest rates. If you negotiate the deal down, the interest rates don't matter. I know other families who, in Nebraska and other places, they didn't bought deals. And then I know people like, oh, well, they must not have kids. My son has a kid. They must make a lot of money. No, they make average income. As a matter of fact, one of the families I know, and in the year that we've been dealing with each other, they have picked up 4 deals. Well, they picked up 4 units, excuse me. They picked up 4 units in the past year, 12 months. And I'm not going to say when I start talking to them, it was like, oh, hell, Kirby, we believe in you. It still ain't like that now. Everything that I said, they challenged it. And then we just came to an agreement. Hey, how about we just try to execute the plan? And then they executed it and then realized, hey, after they did their own research, and I always tell people, don't just take what I say 100% and just run with it. I say what I say because I do my research, but I say what I say because I know it will withstand the times of Google. So I say, look up, research, see what I'm saying and see if it's legitimate. And then that family, of course, like I said, we bumped our heads. We disagreed on a lot of things. And next thing you know, they just go in there knocking it out the park. I always tell people, hey, I'm listening to me. Even if nobody else do it, I'm listening to me. So again, like I said, when the stock market was down, I said it's the best time to invest. Everybody was scared because the news media was saying that it was bad. Now look at what we had all-time high. Now I'm telling you right now, and again, look it up, look at the history of the market. We're at all-time highs now. I believe that we will meander around the highs of the market to see until this big, beautiful bill thing just pop off. Once it is announced, I believe the market is going to come down. I will invest more. And then I will keep investing more the further the market goes down because I know the history of the market that over the long term, it will return higher. That's all I'm doing. Now, if people wonder, oh, well, how can I invest more or how can I start investing? Cut out all the BS that you're doing. And when I say it's BS to me, but you know it's BS. I mean, the partying, the clubbing, the going out, hey, sit at home and eat, cook, and live as cheaply as possible, and all the extra money you put into the market. Trust me, your future self will thank you for doing it. But if you don't do it, you're gonna be calling people, man, I wish I would have listened. Just trying to give you the insight and the info and what's going on. So that's what's going on in the market. So now let me hit these questions because I know people got questions and we can talk about the stocks or whatever. And I can tell you what I think about individual stocks, but I always tell people invest in the market. If you're not willing to do the time to invest in individual stocks, just invest in the market. It's easy peasy. Every time you get paid, you got a percentage going into the market. And then when I'm saying the market, I mean SPY. And if you got a little more gumption about yourself, QQQ. And then you can use a variation of it in the mutual fund space. Because I know people get sticker shock of how big the price is. Like SPY right now is $614 a share. It really don't matter. But you can use a variation, USNQX for the NASDAQ 100, or I think it's UFXAIX for the S&P 500. If you just want to use mutual funds and you just want a lower looking number so it looks more appeasing to your dollars. But in truth of the reality, it don't matter. If a stock is at $600 a share and it goes up 5%, you made 5% of your money. If stock is at $1 and it goes up 5%, you made 5% of your money. So, but I tell you, just stick to the market, because you don't want to sit there and battle and try to sit there and all the nuances of trying to understand individual companies, listen to conference calls and all that. So that's what we have. So let's go to the questions. Yeah. Last week you talked about Kroger's. I see they are closing 6 stores, none in Michigan. That's good. That's perfectly fine. So, and Ludine, that's a great question. So you got to look at it from two aspects. I mean, you can look at it from a consumer or investor. Closing stores mean that's more operating costs and expenses being gone. The 60 stores that they're eliminating are the lower performing stores. I haven't heard the story of the 60 stores, but again, Kroger is doing a merger with a big company that they have to offload stores anyway because of the monopoly practice that's going on. But so those 60 stores, and that's why you say none in Michigan, that has something to do with it. You can't have a monopoly and they believe the merger that they're going to have. And I wish I could tell you the store. I've actually been in meetings about that store. But yeah, that's where the 60 stores are coming from. But that's just part of the regulatory findings that's going on there. But again, Kroger is still branching out to a lot of southern states, because physical Kroger stores are not here in Florida, not in Georgia, but they have a footprint and people are using Kroger as far as delivery services or what have you. So yeah, good call out there. I like it, but I still like Kroger stock, especially on a pullback. If it pulled back, I am all for that one. Jermaine, how can I get my head as shiny as yours? Oh, a lot of, that's a good question. That's a lot of being old and a lot of stress early on in life. That's where it came from. What can you tell me about Robinhood? Robinhood is an application. I recommend people who don't know the sophistications of Charles Schwab or all these other platforms out there. It's more of a streamlined process. That's a click, put in a number, buy stocks. But I don't use the platform, but I know a lot of people that do it. And Robinhood, the application, is good. If you talk about that, if you're talking about the stock, I believe Robinhood itself has a lot of, they have a lot of market shares. Again, how easy it is to use, the interaction, the interface of it is very, very easy to use. When I started out, I didn't have nowhere near that ease of interface as far as Robinhood to buy, sell stocks, options, or whatever. But I think it's a great platform as far as what they're doing. As far as taking market share, they are taking a lot of market share. I know they just did a deal with a European company to take a lot of crypto assets and bring that in-house also. So Robinhood is shaking and moving. So I couldn't complain about them at all. What is the Medicare Savings Program, Ludine? I do not have a clue about the Medicare Savings Program. I really don't know. I won't sit here and lie to you like I know it all. I don't. Do you think it will ever be a time when there's no Social Security? That's a hell of a question. I don't know what the government got planned. I think that the government will keep printing money until they can't print money no more. When that time comes, I don't know. So Social Security will be there as long as they can print money. Do I believe, should there be Social Security to the end of time? I think this is only my opinion. Only my opinion. I think that there should be right now a cutoff age. So everybody that's 19 years old moving forward should not receive Social Security, and then they should not pay Social Security also. And they should not receive Social Security, and then the government or themselves need to find another avenue to invest the money for retirement. Because we all know that there's no money in Social Security. We know that people in politics and Congress, they decided that, hey, all the money that's coming in Social Security, we can use it on T-bills and everything else and buy other things as long as we get enough money to pay the people at the right time, at the current time that need Social Security. Everything is fine. But I do believe that it should be a cutoff age, and then those people should pivot to another program because Social Security is not it, because the numbers just don't match up as far as people, the amount of money you put in, and then especially now the longevity of people's lives that live way longer than expectation. They living way past the money that they save for Social Security. So that's why I believe another program should be on. But I think long as the government prints money, that there will be Social Security. Tipping in other countries is an insult. Some countries not at all. Yep, that's true. We talked about that. Santa, I see you out there. Yeah, I've been to a lot of places, and tipping, they look at you like you retarded when you tip. And then sometimes I forget, and then I'll pay, and then I'll just get up and walk away. Once I realize my mistake, I just get up and walk away, and then they'll chase me down and be like, "Oh, here's your money." I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's right." So that's what it is. Bought a T-shirt at a T-shirt stand in San Diego by the beach, and the guy at the register asked for a tip. Yep, exactly. The tipping culture, I believe, has gotten out of hand. Everybody want to tip for everything, and of course, you can blame tariffs, you can blame all that other stuff. But the true reality is I get the service at a restaurant. You know, you tipping them for the hospitality, how good they were at bringing it. But now it's got out of hand. Fast food restaurants ask for a tip. Everybody's asking for a tip, and these people, a lot of these people, getting paid the quote unquote minimum wage. They're not getting paid the server wage, and they still ask for tips. It has gotten insane. If they can afford to work for the wage paid by the employer, they should seek other employment. And Santa, I agree with you there. I mean, the servering culture, and that's a U.S. thing. Like I said, I believe that the employer is at fault why these servers are not making it. I guarantee you, if the servers say, "Hey, we're not working for this wage," then they wouldn't work. And then the employer will have to readjust the shot group and then figure something else out. But the thing is, because the culture has always been, "Hey, I could work here for $2, but the customers, they're gonna pay me like $200 a day, then it's worth it." But again, the customers didn't employ you. Your employer employed you. That's the only place in America that, hey, you can get hired by me, but you expect somebody else to pay you. I mean, you got sales businesses like that also, but though that's, y'all get my point. What else we got? It's okay to tip, especially if the service is good. Some people are so pitiful, it's hard to tip or even go back. And if you want to tip and give extra money, I agree. But the thing is the nuance or the crux of this conversation is, should the server be upset if you don't tip? I mean, I am a tipper. I overtip. But the arguments that's out there make sense. Like, why am I obligated, not optional, obligated to pay you 25, 30% on a meal that I paid for? I shouldn't be obligated for that. I should be doing it out the goodness of my heart. It should be nothing. The server should be getting their wage to live off of. And then because your service is above and beyond, when I'm paying you, that's just extra on top of the wage that you already live on. It shouldn't be, "Hey, we give you this money so you can get up to minimum wage." It shouldn't. So it puts more pressure on the people that's working. And I just look at it as, so let's say somebody making $15 an hour. You know, they save up their nickels and dimes, and then they go to a restaurant, take their family out to a restaurant, just take their girlfriend or boyfriend out to a restaurant, and then the server comes, and then they're there for an hour. The bill comes. So me, as somebody making $15 an hour with a 30% tip, so let's just say the bill is $100, you're expecting me to pay you more than I make an hour. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? That's why it sounds a little shaky. I think it should be more, the owner should be more on the employer. And then I'm not against tipping. I'm just against that the employees are 100% dependent on the customers to make a living. If you bought during the Iran strike, you're up now. That's true. Is that Cool J? You're right. If you bought during the Iran strike, you're up. If you bought anytime from the end of February till June 2nd, you're up now. And he's talking about the stock market in general. And the thing is, it's funny, with all the stock market going down, they're talking about the Trump administration. They're talking about the administration period. They don't know what they're doing. They're going to crash 401ks and all that. And then it was people that actually listened to the news and they exit 401ks. The thing is I always say do opposite whatever the news tell you. Because while the news screaming sell, 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 or get out, or 401ks and retirements are diminished, it didn't take long. February to June. March, April, May, June. 4 months. So the same people who exited in the bottom of April, now they're screwed because they're out of it. And they're not going to get back into it until the market is way higher. So they sold at the low and they're going to buy back way higher. And I've been saying for forever, stop listening to the news. Do opposite. Whatever your emotional state tell you to do, you should be doing opposite. If your emotions are telling you to sell, you should be buying. Like now, when the stock market keeps coming up, it's going to people that don't have any sense going to keep piling in. Because like, buy, buy, buy. That's when you should be selling or trimming your position. And that's why I said, I think the market's going to hang around here a little bit. It might move a little bit higher. And then if it keeps going higher, I'm going to start trimming my position. I'm not going to keep buying. I mean, I will still buy because I will stay at 50%. That's the lowest I'll go. But I'm going to keep buying even at higher levels. But if it goes down, then I'm going to up the ante. I'm going to buy more, buy more, buy more. Family going to have to sacrifice, and we just going to buy more. That's all. Do the opposite of what your emotions telling you to do. Do the opposite of what the news telling you to do, especially when it comes to the stock market. What else we got? What do you think? What do you think of No Labs? You know what? I never even heard of No Labs, but I will look it up just for the sake of this argument. I know nothing about No Labs. I don't have any details. If you got a ticker symbol, I can look at it. Known Labs. Okay, sorry. Let's see what we got. Known Labs. The ticker symbol is KNW. I know nothing about that. And then for people that used to follow me back in the day, I believe this is a medical device company that creates a non-intrusive health monitoring system using radio, microwaves, spectroscope to identify and measure molecules in vitro. What else? Chemical bound product being sensor technology optimized for blood glucose measure. Okay. It was founded in 1998. I don't know anything about the company. I know they're not bringing in. I know they're at early stages of what they're doing. And I'm just saying I know that based off the information I'm looking at here. PE ratio is 0. Oh. Sorry, people. I'm doing this live, so don't judge me for not knowing who the heck this thing is. KNW. Let me see. All right. Yeah, so let's see. For me, revenue. They have no revenue. Return on equity is negative 2,135%. EBITDA, that's earning before interest, taxes, depreciation, negative 11 million. Now, could they have some stage product and like a stage 2, stage 3 that's going to hyperinflate and go up in the future? Yeah, it could be. But the PE ratio is negative 638. I mean, I wouldn't invest in it because I just don't know the market. I never invest in anything that I don't know what it is. Debt to equity ratio is negative 84.41%. Year to date, the stock is down 76.9%. And of course, I'm always about buying with blood in the streets, but it's too much blood in the streets. And especially, I don't know what the hell this company do, where it's at, or anything. But that's just my view. So don't use that as a stock recommendation. But I really don't invest in the biotech space at all because it's just too much information that I am unfamiliar with. And I'm okay saying that I don't know what the hell is going on there. We talked about my start of $25 and where I'm at now, a huge improvement. That's a good job, Santa Claus. Hey, what's up? What do you know about SEALSQ? You gotta give me the ticker symbols. I usually operate off ticker symbols. Seals Q Corp. Seals Q Corp, Switzerland-based holding company, operate mainly in the semiconductor industry. Semiconductors, I do like semiconductors. And yes, for the people that's following at home, is LAES. I like semiconductors. I don't know anything about this company, and I want to be honest. New, how's it going? But I want to be honest. Companies that's under $10, I really don't know much about them. I see that as post quantum technology products. I believe if you're gonna play the quantum space, I think it's a better place to play it than this. But again, I'm gonna look at revenue. They do have revenue, $10 million in revenue a year, or almost $11 million in revenue. Their net margins is negative 193%. So that means they're still borrowing money just to operate the business. They don't make enough money far as money coming in to operate the business. I do like the share count of 122 million a share. So whatever they're doing, whenever if it comes to fruition, it will shoot off like a rocket ship with the number of shares outstanding. It's below $1 billion market cap. EBITDA, that's earnings, is still negative 16 billion. So like I said, they still have to raise capital. So even though that's 122 million shares, I expect secondary offerings. I expect senior note bonds put out. So that's convertible notes to increase that share count to pay for the operation expense, because I still believe that they're a long way to go in the quantum space. But honestly, if it's under $10, that's how I'm very cognizant of that. I think the last stock that I looked at that was under $20 was SoFi, and that was a headache for me for a long time before it turned around. So I'm just really not in the space of knowing stocks that's that low. There's nothing wrong with them. I just don't recommend them at all because I just don't know nothing about these early companies. And then I do see the 52-week range. It was down to 29 cents a share. Now it's at 405 a share. So if you got it at 30 cents, less than $1 a share, you're up 400%. Salute to you, but I just don't know it. I'm sorry. I apologize. Any other questions out there about anything else that's going on in the market, in the world, in life in general? I love this time and this space, so please ask, but I'll give it like another minute to see what's going on, any questions that people have, and I'll try to knock them out for you while I'm still live. But the quantum space, I thought I've seen some. Yeah, so speaking of the quantum space, D-Wave, if I was in the quantum space, D-Wave, I would do that. The ticker symbol is QBTS. That's one that I would lean more towards if I was just playing that space. I would play more of the energy space there when it comes to quantum computing and things like that. So that's really, yeah, D-Wave. That's where I play in the quantum computing space, because I didn't want to leave you hanging. Sorry about that. The quantum computing, I just kept thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, D-Wave is one of them that would be one that I would be more apropos to be like, hey, I'll go that way than anything else. All right, let's see what else we got. See if we got any more questions, then I can get out of here and y'all can get out of here. Do you recommend banking with Navy Fed? Yep, Navy Fed Credit Union is not bad. I think the technology is still a little bit slower as far as just attributes and things that's out there, but I am a fan of Navy Fed. Actually, I think I have like 18, 19. That's me looking up when I'm doing like this, like, because I'm trying to think. I have more than 10 accounts in Navy Fed, so I am a Navy Fed person. Palantir, I like Palantir, especially on this pullback. Who is this? Oh wait, I gotta look at it. Palantir, I seen that one. I knew what Palantir was. I mean, I know they're getting hit across the head with different things out there. Asteria Labs, Semiconductor. I mean, I like NVIDIA. I like SMCI. I know that's, but semiconductor space, AMD, I like them. I know a lot of them at their highs, but I like them better right here at this point. But I still wait for a pullback for all of them. But the semiconductor space, I do like it. I believe science and technology is the future, especially in the next 10, 15 years. I think everything will be on semiconductor chips. So I am a fan of those, but I'm more of the AMD, SMCI, NVIDIA space on that. What's ANET? I'm sorry. Um, yeah, ALA. Yeah, AI space. Yeah, I would level back from the AI space, even though like ChatGPT and all that. I would look at what is needed to create those servers for AI, and I will play that space. Like I said, the NVIDIA chip, the AMD chip. There's some other chips out there that will bring the AI space to the forefront. And I wouldn't be trying to pick just a singular company. I would look at products and materials or platforms that each of them use, and I would invest in that because they're gonna have to keep buying and refurbishing those to keep that up in the AI space. Uh, yeah. I don't. I see that Q Seals have partnerships, but I don't base it off partners. I base it off just what the company's doing. Of course, investing is very futuristic of what they're gonna do in the future, but I don't go into the weeds. I gotta go with stuff that's tried and true that have backers financially. Partners is one thing, but financial backers is a total different thing. So that's how I just look at that. But I see there's no other questions out there. But Navy Fed, yes, I am a fan of that. But for everybody, thanks for joining. Thanks for the questions. I'm here every week. I believe in 2 weeks we'll be in another location. But for all y'all, thank you, and I will see you next week. Y'all have a good one, and check out the video that came out on Wednesday.